You're welcome.
I was already thinking it before you. Yes,
weren't.
I was.
No, you weren't.
Don't take this from me.
She was
No,
so.
I was
like,
going
you need to post that because that's what people
and
want.
I said,
That's
I know. I was already thinking about that.
It's us.
And welcome to the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Hey.
What's up?
Same old stuff.
Same old stuff. No, it's not the same old
That's
stuff.
true.
We got a lot of stuff. So you guys stick around for the life update for that
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true.
Because there's a lot.
There's some
a lot
new
going on behind the scenes.
We're doing too much.
We're doing too
Per
much.
usual.
Way too much.
Yeah.
But this show is brought to you by
Katie with Monarch Pine. So if you're looking for jewelry findings or blanks, check her out on her new website, monarchpine.com, and use code Riley Black for 10% off. Patrons, of course, though, get... Oh, it's pouring here, too.
Yeah.
Patrons, of course, get a higher discount. So
that's right.
Make sure
And if you're not already, become a member of the Riley Black Project community Facebook group. And if you are a patron and are not yet part of it, the TRBP Hangout Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group for patrons only. It's where we get wild and
and I think this will still be
relevant.
I think the birthday sale will still be going on by the time this airs.
Okay.
So May 31st is when that ends.
Okay.
So just check the socials to see what the details are.
So
But
as
basically
long as-
everything's on
if it's
sale,
before
so.
May 31st that you're watching this, the sale's
Including
still on.
Patreon memberships. Those are on sale too.
Yes. Oh, really? Memberships too?
10%.
Nice.
You know this.
Huh?
You know this.
I do.
Oh my
I
God,
do.
guys.
I should know this. There are things I just don't know.
Get to the guest. I can't with
All
you.
right. Well, these guests today. Guests, because there's two of them.
There is.
One of them I can't relate to.
Why?
Well, because he can't retire.
Oh.
Like, he can't retire. I'm waiting to retire. I'm ready to retire like right now. I can go. I'll go take a nap.
Yeah.
Show's done. You got a new co-host because I'm retired and taking a nap. But somehow he can't seem to to retire. But she's worked in healthcare and a teacher.
Yep.
Right? It's a teacher.
Yeah, and a
official
teacher.
Yeah, I know education. I just wasn't sure if a teacher. Okay, you're gonna have to help me with the name because I already blanked on the company name.
Okay, I got you.
Welcome to the show, Ann and Bill of
MBZ Designs.
See,
right?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
All right.
Hey,
how you guys doing?
How are you?
Good.
We're good. We're trying to get through it here.
It just
Don't be upset about him retiring because he's never done it right.
Right? He's retiring the wrong way.
Yes, he retired, went back to work, retired, and now I got him. He works with me.
Nice. So what did you retire from first?
Being a police officer.
Okay.
I was a detective in New York City.
Nice.
So I retired from that. And then I was only 42 at the time, so I was so we moved and I went back to work at in the new town that we lived in
As
a police officer. So
I see a theme.
Yeah. But now I just turned 55. So
Nice.
I'm eligible to retire here in North Carolina. So I figured, you know what? Let me retire from the quote unquote 9 to 5 every day, and I will just work the
20 to 20.
Yeah.
Always.
4 hour.
Right.
Exactly.
And she can, because for the longest time I was just the cleaner of the machines.
Yeah, that was his job
I
too.
could work the lasers and all that, but the UV machine, it was completely just out of my thought process.
Yeah.
So luckily, Annie's been teaching me slowly but surely, getting me up to speed on that thing. So
I think he's watching YouTube videos because he's doing it too easy. It's kind of annoying. Because
That's him too. I get something new, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Well, I saw this video that you were just click here and here and here, and then you're good." And I'm like,
Yeah, YouTube University for sure.
Yeah. I also had a year of watching her curse and scream at the computer, so I picked up a little here and there. So.
Right, little bits and pieces. Yeah.
Right. I must curse a lot because you're just like curse and scream, curse. And scream. what you're talking about. I am a total professional.
I should.
Hey, some
totally
professionals
become-
can curse.
I should become a cop because I'd be like 1 year
No.
away from retirement right now.
Not if you just start now.
No, not. I said I should have
Oh,
been
yeah.
a cop because I'd be
No.
1 year away.
You talked about it.
I did, and I would have been 1 year away from retirement.
You fucked up.
I really did.
So,
Well, if it makes you feel better, he's going from years of doing this. He'll
Yeah,
be having
yeah.
surgery soon again.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's because he went back to work. I wouldn't have gone back to work.
See?
True.
See,
I would
he's
have
got-
stayed.
you-
I would have
you
stayed
got-
retired.
That
I
is
failed
true,
the-
though.
I failed at it the first time. This time I'm gonna,
He's
I'm
got to
gonna
stick with it and
succeed.
stay retired.
but
Yeah.
quasi retired because I still work here. But
I mean, most of the police officer friends that we know, they've all had some kind of surgery from like
Yeah.
work-related job
Yeah.
stuff.
Even
Oh,
just the stress on your body.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
everything they can. I went to pick up his work belt. And I was like, for the
Yeah.
love of God, man. It's like
Right.
another person you're carrying around.
Mhm.
Ironically, hip and back.
Right.
So just hip replacement. When is it? June. The middle of June, he goes for back surgery. Again,
Wow.
this is the second back surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That-
keep doing that too. We're
That
sharing
Batman
earbuds.
utility.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Batman
Oh, yeah.
utility belt.
Yeah, right.
yeah, that thing kills you.
It's heavy.
So, Anne, what did you do before? So, healthcare and teacher. So, how
Well-
did that look for you?
I started doing healthcare just straight out of school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think when my son was born, I decided to go back to school for special ed because I was actually in it because he was going through IEPs and all that. So I was like, you know what? And there was a satellite program right by my house where you literally could do schooling, doing it on the it took a little longer, but you did it on the weekends.
Nice.
Summer like quick sessions where it was they put 3 weeks into, but you had
Right.
he would have to watch. He would actually have to take off, so I could come home, write my paper. You know, because you had to say 3 papers in 3 weeks. It was
Right.
insane.
Intense. Yeah.
But by the time Alyssa was in 2nd grade, I was totally done.
Nice.
So started as a teacher, and then I was an early interventionist. So I just went to homes and worked with children with autism, speech delays, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did you go from that to straight into like laser stuff, and like how did that happen?
The Riley Black Project is sponsored by Monarch Pine.
Monarch Pine is your trusted source for premium laser blanks and jewelry findings. From large loop earring hooks made specifically for acrylic and wood earrings to laser-tested stainless steel necklace and bracelet blanks, they have everything you need to bring your creative ideas to life.
As a maker, you know the value of quality supplies. And that's exactly what Monarch Pine delivers. Whether you're crafting as a hobby or running a full-time business, their products make it easy to design confidently and create stunning pieces.
Head to monarchpine.com and use code RileyBlack to get 10% off your order. Riley Black patrons get an even bigger discount, so don't miss out.
While you're at it, join the Monarch Pine Craft Supply Insiders Facebook group. It's a vibrant community where makers share tips, inspiration, and their incredible creations.
Monarch Pine, where your creativity takes center stage. Visit monarchpine.com and use code RileyBlack today.
Not tomorrow, today.
Lone Star Adhesive has elevated the industry standard with their premium leatherette, UV printed goods, and American-made products in leather, acrylic, PVC, and their indestructible thermal activated adhesive.
You can check them out at lonestaradhesive.com or join their Facebook community of nearly 30,000 fellow makers who share the belief that you shouldn't cut corners and instead stick to excellence.
Lone Star Adhesive official group is where it's at, and you can use code TRBP15 to get 15% off your next purchase.
Go get you some.
Go.
So when we first moved to North Carolina, he was retiring from
Right.
the city. And he actually came down to North Carolina 3 months after I did. So for 3 months, I was on my own. The kids were teenagers, so it wasn't that
Yeah.
big. But I was getting really bored. So
Right.
I was like, I think I'm going to order this thing called the Silhouette.
The gateway
Well,
drug is what we call
Yep,
it.
it is the gateway drug because I think it wasn't that much longer later. He was, back in North Carolina, and the life is different because in New York, when he went to work, it was like an hour and a half just to get there. So I saw him more once he moved here and was working.
Right.
Saw the Glowforge, and we were like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
When I showed it and decided maybe I might do a business, I was putting it on my personal page and people were going nuts.
Yeah.
So we made a little business out of it.
Yeah.
Then we moved to our farmhouse we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
Internet.
The what?
Like
The what?
there was no internet.
Oh yeah.
No, we moved in and they were like, "Oh, you can get
DSL, but
DSL," and we're like, "Excuse me." Like, and then we called the phone company and they're like, "Oh, we're not doing that anymore."
they couldn't.
Oh.
They wouldn't even give us that.
So we're like, "Say what?" So the people who were the realtors for the house live down the street from us. So we asked them, "What do you guys use?" And at the time, they were just using those little Motorola jet.
Oh yeah, the hotspot things.
hotspot.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Say what?
Like we use those at work, and I'm like, you
Right.
get like 3 feet, and then you're
Right.
out. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you gotta be. So the Glowforge was
a
theoretically useless because it was all cloud based, and we're like,
Right.
huh, right?
But
So-
who do you think knows how to get internet nowhere?
This guy?
Gamers.
Yeah.
No, gamers do.
So I
Yeah.
went on, had to leave the house to do it, but I went on Google. Gamers, and that's when we found out like you couldn't get like now you can get T-Mobile home internet.
Yeah.
Back then you had to get it through a third party. So is this place called Blazing Hog? Best thing ever. And now all these years, like it was only this year or late last year,
Wait, last year.
where all of a sudden Spectrum Fiber shows up and it's like, oh, we put the lines in, you want it? And we were like, yes, please.
Right. Yes. Now.
Well, look, the government gave them all of this money
Right.
to expand the
That it took them 10 years to do.
Right, because when we first moved in, and I called Spectrum up, and they're like, "There's a new development half a mile away from us," and they're like, "Well, that's as far as we are.
Ugh.
We'll get to you guys eventually."
Right.
Right.
A day, an event, and they're like, "No, just eventually."
Yeah.
Someday.
Like
That salesman walked down our
Oh.
dirt road, and I think everybody was like, they were like ready for him
they
before
were
he
just throwing
like,
money
the
at
first
us.
house got
Right.
it and let everybody else know. So everybody's just standing there like, come on, get
My
over
turn.
Yeah.
My turn. That was us with fiber. I didn't even think fiber was available.
Yeah. AT&T.
And then we went through issues with Xfinity, and like issues in the beginning. So someone hit a truck hit our line because they're still overhead.
Yes.
And so a big semi comes through and takes out our internet. And they were like, we think it'll be back up in like a couple days. And we're like, that's not going to work. Like we were both home based. The lady across the street was home based. We're like, we need internet to work. Like this is not a negotiable. Oh my God. And then with the kids and the TV not working, that was actually way worse than not being able to work.
Yes, seriously.
And so we started shopping around, and then he called AT&T, and they're like, "Oh, what do you have?" Because I actually texted our neighbor across the street and asked her what she used, and she was like, "Oh, we do AT&T fiber." I was like, "What? That's available?"
We had reached our data limit during.
That's what started it too. So I was
the LED
doing
course.
Yeah, so I was creating a course. So we were sending these huge files back and forth between each other because I'd record them, he'd edit them, and then
you would upload them to Dropbox.
And all we're doing
I
is
would download
Dropbox.
them. Yeah.
Oh,
Like a shared cloud, service. So I didn't even think like I'm not like actually emailing this huge file to him. I'm just uploading it to Dropbox. And they were like, "Oh, you've hit your max," and then we had to pay for like the unlimited or whatever.
So then
and it was
like,
still slow as molasses. And
I was also like, well, wait a minute. If we're gonna be paying, or let me see what other options there are.
Right.
Because up until then, it was like, well, we have Xfinity and we have, we have their internet and their TV line. And then so I was shopping around, and I saw that like AT&T was better for unlimited, and then but then that would mean, and it's funny because we do the switch for the internet, cancel the internet.
Oh my God.
Now none of our Xfinity extras work, like the talk to the remote. So we
no. How about
I had-
they canceled? Remember they canceled our appointment because they went on strike.
Oh, AT&T.
The
Yeah.
day before.
AT&T had went on strike.
The day before we were supposed to get fiber, we were literally counting the days because everything was like, transferring super slow. It was torture.
Yeah.
And then we were so excited, and then they canceled it and didn't give us a reason. And he called and he was like, "Can I reschedule?" And they're like, well, we can reschedule for like a week or two from now, but it all depends on if they're back from strike." And we're like, "Oh, wonderful." Yeah.
But once we got the fiber, the internet was super fast.
So fast.
What this podcast would normally on Xfinity take me about like half an hour to upload. So I would leave it for at night.
No,
and
it was
let
almost
it do
2
it.
hours, wasn't it?
No, about half an hour.
Oh.
Half an hour to maybe an hour.
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on how long. Anyway, I will leave it overnight to upload, and then in the morning it'd be uploaded.
Yeah.
Oh my
then
God.
I tried it for fiber, and it literally now it takes 5 minutes.
He was like, "Is it done?"
Like I was expecting it to drop down to like
A little
maybe
better,
15, 20 minutes.
Right.
You know, maybe a little bit
No,
better because it was,
night and
and
day.
it was like it wasn't crazy. Like we went from 500 megabytes to 1,000. Like,
Right. No.
it was 800 to 1,000. Like
Yeah.
it was only
Oh,
2
so
hours,
yeah.
but it went super fast.
Well, and what we didn't realize, the AT&T guy told us, is that when you're on Xfinity, you are sharing that
the bandwidth
with
Oh,
your
yes.
neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
And so as soon as everyone gets home, or like if it's the weekend
Yep.
and all the kids
That's
are home and everyone's on their
wireless
and
providers,
it would
that
slow it
T-Mobile,
down.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
But with fiber, that's your dedicated
It's
fiber
your
line.
line.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Mhm.
we can tell if we go to send a file, especially for the UV printer, because everything's
Uh-huh.
Adobe.
Yeah.
The other day, it was taking him forever, and my dumbass, I left him alone because I figured if he's learning how to do it,
listen, I know how to do it. I'm like, if I need your help,
I'll let you know.
But like anyone else, you don't want someone who's bored just looking over your shoulder while you're
Right.
working. So I'm like,
I
listen,
don't
do me a
do
favor. I'm like, just go upstairs, do something. But if
Leave me alone.
I'll call you. And I'm doing these files, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, this is taking forever. I cannot get these files to download. I'm like, oh my God. So like 3 hours go by, and she's like, are you done? I'm like, I'm on the last one is downloading now. So she's like, oh, okay. I'm like, whatever. So it finishes up, goes through, she comes down, she looks at it, she goes, listen, because my designing is still not
Right.
100%. So she's like, listen, we've got to redo just a couple of them.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. But she's like, I want to redo them. So I'm like, oh, all right. So she sits down. She says, man, why is it so slow? Well, I don't know. She goes, oh, you're on the wrong internet connection. She switches it over to fucking ping. I'm like,
boom.
I'm waiting 25 minutes for each thing to download. I'm like, good. I'm like, that could have been done like 4 hours ago, taking a nap. I'm like, good. Huh.
He told me to go away, so I took a nap.
Like, yeah, what are you doing? But last one's downloading. Didn't you think I was having a problem at that point? Maybe come down and help.
I thought you were just slow.
No, yeah.
Right? You don't want to rush them when they're like,
Right, because I had no choice. Like when I was the only one doing it,
right.
there's nobody to ask.
Right.
But how I am, we do it to each other. We know we don't want the other one over our shoulder.
Yeah.
That's how I started.
Yeah, that's why I don't even attempt to design or any of that, or even do any of the, like, she literally has to have a hair appointment or is working on something else in order for me to work on any of these layers. Because if not, it's
I
not
have to
even
absolutely
it's
not be available.
It's not the fact that she's lingering over me, because that I'd be fine with if she was just like watching.
Yeah.
But she'd have to be like, no, here, let me show. Like, she has to be in control of it. So
I don't know anything
I would
about
be
that.
the one lingering over, watching, not learning anything, because I need to do it in order to learn it, because that's how I learn.
He does too. He
Yeah.
has to.
So, but she has to step in and be like, no, let me show you how to do it. And
Well-
then the project is done, and then I just hit origin and
So
start.
now he makes it, depending on what it is, especially like Canva stuff. Hey guys, how great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape the 9-to-5 and embrace a lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Above and Beyond webinar, where you'll learn how you can make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head on over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Above and Beyond webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
Bye.
Attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than the Crazy Laser Dad's Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high-quality blanks are expertly sourced and tested and ready to use on your laser. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time-consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for your customers.
Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their Laser Ready Blanks. He'll make it, and if he hasn't already posted it, then I'll be like, Lanny, and I sent her stuff, and I do just a little bit of tweaks that
that's
he
the stuff
notice.
I fixed the stuff that wasn't exactly center.
That name is just a little bit
Oh.
too big.
And I will
before the
admit,
space,
I'm a little I will pull out a ruler. to see.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. I don't
I'm
need
like,
to
it looks
because my
fine.
eye sees it. Yeah. Does not look fine.
But
No.
it makes for a lot of. Everybody keeps telling us we should record ourselves down there.
Yeah.
We got that camera. You guys have the.
You should.
The Pocket 3.
Well, so
Yeah.
one of the reels.
Any of it.
Yeah, one of our recent reels that did the best was a genuine conversation of I don't want to do content today. And he was like, do you want to grow? And I was like, leave me alone. And then he was
But that's what
"Are you-"
people want to see. They want to see
Right.
real, not, it can't be all pretty.
No. Yeah.
So people have told us, just, why don't you just, let it go and record. I don't know what you're going to see. Oh, you really going to be like that today?
You should. And we'd all laugh
It
hysterically.
would just be like, it's
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. On some of those platforms, it'd be a lot. Just
Sometimes I censor them, sometimes I don't. Because I'm like, whatever.
Well, your most recent, I think it was a reel where you did the real talk in the car about contacts. And
yeah.
I love that one because it is real talk. It is the way people feel.
You're welcome.
I was already thinking it before you. Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Don't take this from me.
She was
No,
so.
I was
like,
going
you
to.
need to post that because that's what people.
And I
want.
said,
That's
I
our
know. I
brand.
was already thinking about that.
It's us.
You're welcome for the content.
It's the
you validated what I was already thinking because I was like, I don't want to do any of this shit. I'm wearing makeup for the first time in a month, and it's not my normal makeup, and I'm already shut up. And I'm waiting for tomorrow for my eyes to be like, what the fuck is this? What do you mean you put makeup on? I'm not even thinking about. Yeah, I'm not even thinking about contacts for a minute. I feel like that's pushing it too far at this point. But yeah, so I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? I'm like, fuck it. I know I'm not the only one. And again, it was because it was after that first reel that did, really well. Our shop, our workshop is a disaster. I wasn't done up. I didn't want to do content. And that was the content for the day. And so when I was feeling like crap and I'm like, I don't want to do content again. And I'm like, oh, well, there's my content. And it definitely, I was actually going to even do it before I got my hair done, which the hair gave me the extra confidence that I needed because it was all zhuzhed up. But, we've all been there where, behind the scenes, it doesn't look so pretty all the time. Yeah. And when I asked you to be a guest on the podcast, you're like, are you sure you want this Hot Mess Express? And I'm like, absolutely. Ride the train. We're all on it. This looks pretty. But we always want to be able to pan to the back because it's an absolute disaster. I've been working on organizing since we moved in here.
The white wall, it's the only thing clean in the house.
Oh, when I try to take a picture inside the house, I'm like, what wall doesn't have you can't see our kitchen island? You can't see, you know what I mean? Because that's where, they're all all
I
catch-alls
told Billy, we sat down and we're like trying to picture, and then we didn't want it in the hallway because you'd see all the Amazon boxes.
right.
And then it was like, okay. And then this thing behind me had everybody's Christmas pictures still on it.
Right. Of
And I'm like,
course.
get those down. On the other side is a year-round Christmas tree. But it's else on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I have grown children. They should be helping clean.
Right. Well, and listen, we would have all related to the Amazon boxes because I literally just on Saturday went through and got like actually opened them. You know, you want them right away and then they sit there for a week or two because you don't need them immediately. And then you finally open them and it's like Christmas because you forget what you actually ordered.
Or you don't realize what you ordered, think you don't have it, and now you have 3 boxes.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did. There it is.
Oh, I did remember, but now I over-remembered, which...
Those aren't Amazon boxes.
What are those?
Those are CMB, cerulean tide.
So listen, I had a project this weekend, and I was looking for a specific... CMB box that had the new 16th inch acrylic that I ordered in a bunch of colors. I opened 4 boxes before I found the box that had the acrylic I was looking for. And I was
yes.
We remember when he was freak. So we had to make room for the roll to roll.
Yeah.
And we decided for like 900th time, and I always do this in my group. I always, hey, I'm going to show you my remodel, which has happened like 9,000 times now.
Of course. And it will never stop.
And what's on the table so we have a laser room that has the fibers and the CO2s, but it should be separate for the dust. So that's in the other room. So most people that come here, Melody was actually only here for the first time when we did the install.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, dear, you have so much space down here. I'm like, don't get excited. This
right.
have to be much, much longer. But for the longest, she actually got to see where I keep the acrylic. And she's like, because we finally decided, all right, let's organize it. I was going to do SKUs, but I'm really not that good at that. And let's be real, it wasn't really going to happen. But I told her I would try. And all it was boxes from a CMB. Some of them were like 3 months old. Billy's like,
yeah.
My daughter goes down, Mom, I'm going to at least give you inventory sheets. That's awesome. Thanks. I guess every time I order, I must add on clear because it's always useful for UV.
Right.
I have about like 75 sheets of clear. If anybody needs them, I got covered.
I have that amount of black acrylic because I was ordering a bunch for my course, and now my course has been in my brain for 2 years before I actually released it.
So every time she went to go record it, I need to buy black acrylic for the course.
Yeah, pretty much. And so while
it's
organizing,
2 years of stocking up on black acrylic for the course.
While organizing, I found a $200 to $300 order from Cerulean Tides that I didn't even remember ordering. I was like, oh. And mind you, I found it after I recorded the course, by the way. And I was like, oh, cool. I have enough acrylic to do another course. And it's like black 1/4 inch with that glossy that I don't typically use.
Right.
I literally just use that for the shadow box portion of my LEDs. I don't use it for anything else. All of my keychains are 1/8 inch. And I'm like, cool. Guess I'm going to make a bunch of 1/4 inch peens or something for Bag of Dicks files because like, what am I going to do with all of this?
So if you're in need of shiny black Florida,
and you're in Central Florida, let me know. I have plenty.
I'll be in Florida. Oh gosh, in 2 days.
I know, and I'm so sad. Melody just asked me today. She was like, "Are you gonna be in Florida, this week?" And I was like, "Yes, but way far away from the event." So I'm sad.
I'll be there.
He's gonna be there on Thursday.
Yay!
This is Amanda's first event in her new amazing warehouse. Just wait until you see this. It's gorgeous.
I can't wait to see. I'm actually going with Melody. We're flying together.
Nice.
And she picked up the tickets, so that we would end up on the same,
Well, Nick
flight.
did.
Oh,
Yes,
that's right.
Nick.
Yes, Nick did.
Melody
Although I
doesn't do
think-
that.
Yes, the travel agent picked up.
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
booked
exactly.
everything.
She always says her travel agent.
Yes.
Yes, that's very true. And
And now I'm going to
actually
ask her,
messaged-
though. I'm really curious whether she actually booked it or if Nick did.
I think this time she might have because
I'll be
They were-
impressed.
we were
I
the
think
same-
they were together when it happened.
Yeah.
So it's tough to say
Oh,
who
right.
actually
He was,
did it.
he was
That's
sitting
true.
right
Yeah,
there.
I think it was if she did it, he directed her on how to do
Because
it.
we
Right.
were having such a hard time finding a flight with 2 open seats. Like,
Oh.
didn't even have to be together, just like on the same flight would be nice.
Right.
So get off, we go to the hotel. But I was laughing because I messaged her this morning. I said, I know you'll let me know the day of, but I kind of have to know like around what time.
Right.
She's like, oh yeah, you need that, huh?
Yeah.
She times. So I went on to find the actual, because I knew the plane. It was Delta. So
Right.
I sent her a screen. I'm like, this one? She's like, yep, that's it. If I get there first, I can use my license to get on, but I got to know where I'm going.
Right.
She was
What time of the
laughing.
day do I need to be there approximately?
Right. And especially
Yeah.
because we usually fly out early, but I guess for whatever reason, for once, one of the flights was 12 o'clock.
Nice.
That never happens. We always have to be there at 6 something.
Well,
and
we
I'm
either
like,
or flights, out of this place. It's usually either 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and get you there super early, or
7 stops.
8 o'clock at night that get
Yep.
you there super late. So it's
Yeah, you
like-
get there at
Yeah.
midnight, 1
And
a.m., and you're like, oh,
we
cool.
don't have.
And for the most part, most places you stay, if you can't check in early,
Yeah, it's no
you can
fun
usually
doing
at least drop your bags there and be like, "Hey,
Mhm.
Right.
call me. I'll be back."
Right.
that. But we'll actually be there for check-in. I think this is the first time that ever happened, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to go
and-
hang with Melody and Katie, Miss
Yeah.
Monarchine.
We live an hour and a half from the airport. So whenever the flight time is, then we have to start doing the math of, okay, we need to be there 2 hours ahead. Okay, but then we need to leave 2 hours ahead of that. What time? So if it's like a 6 a.m. flight, it's like out of the question unless it's like
Oh yes.
that.
Yeah.
Unless it's
Unless
the
you're
only
staying
one
up all night.
available. Yeah, because otherwise we're leaving at 2 a.m. Like,
Mhm.
And then when
Yeah,
are we
might
gonna
as well just-
pack? Because
Right.
2 a.m. is when we pack.
it really is. It really
I might
is.
know something a little about that.
It's when-
Hot Mess Express.
It's when we pack. When we pack.
I'm leaving on Wednesday. I haven't packed today. I still need to do laundry.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
leaving
doing
on
laundry. Oh, don't feel bad. My laundry for Wednesday is happening tomorrow. 'Cause I come up here to film, and my son is off today. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what is that sound? And like I said, it's a farmhouse. So my washer and dryer is actually a little closet off my kitchen.
Hmm.
Who put on the? And then I remembered, I was like, so I texted him. I'm like, well, if you want anything to eat or drink, you might want to come down now and grab it because we're about to go on, video.
Right.
He's like, I'm like, did you start laundry? He goes, I always do laundry on my day off. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to pause it, okay?
That was like when we had Blake on, and we had literally just started,
Oh,
and
yeah.
his dryer was going off, and all of a sudden his camera was like this, and he was like, can we pause for a second? The dryer is shaking my camera. It was hilarious. It was like, those are the
Yeah.
moments I love, because that's
Right.
literally how it goes. Like, we'll record, and that's when his mom comes home, and she's like, hey, talking to us about everything. Like, the other day, I was trying to do one of my, like, stupid dancing videos, and now my desk faces the door that we usually
Right.
leave open, and I'm like, she's either going to catch me doing it, and then I'm going to die of embarrassment, but then it's funny how that embarrassment is fine, but like the embarrassment of putting it on social media with thousands of people to see, that's fine because I don't see you seeing me.
Right,
But
yeah.
if she sees me, or then that's when she's gonna tell me about what was she showing us pictures
Who
of
knows?
yesterday?
Oh, she works at an assisted living, and they had a Mother's Day
Oh my God.
spread or whatever. So she
She's
was
showing us the pictures of the food
the-
spread, and we were like,
Yeah.
cool.
I was like, wow, it feels like I'm right there.
Oh God, I love old people. I'm old people too, but like older people. Anyway,
Gosh, if you're old people, we're ancient. We're like, forgot to died 3 days ago and forgot to lay down.
I mean, listen, it's all relative, right? I just turned 41 yesterday, and I told my friend that I'm a 12-year-old trapped in a 41-year-old body. So, my
That's what I call
mentality. is you have a small child and a small boy basically at that, and then my body is 41. But what was the real or something you saw the other day? It was like 40-year-olds feel and act, or we look 20, but our body feels 80.
90.
Yeah, like our generation. That's what we aged well as far as like face maybe, but your body's like
on the inside.
It's falling apart.
Yeah, that's like when you sneeze, or one sneeze takes you out of the game, or
oh god,
what's wrong and you can't get down the stairs in the morning.
Well, so at the Eon party a couple years ago, which is where we met in person for the first time, Heather was doing content and is doing a video. I tried to duck out of the way of her doing content, and I threw out my back.
She ducked out of the weekend.
I fucked the whole weekend plus several months. And I'm like, you know what I did? All I did was this.
Yeah.
And my back's like, oh, you moved too quick, bitch.
That's like APA, setting up for APA. Messed up my it's not it wasn't even like sad, it's like a muscle spasm that I get like in my like lower right side, like almost like it feels like a hip or like sciatica. So I went to the doctor, whatever, and it seems like a muscle spasm thing or whatever. So and it always happens.
We would talk about Hot Mess Express.
It always happens when I do manual labor. So my body's allergic.
It's like, what's this? I was sick as a dog, so he had to take over. Right? He had to take over most of it, and I just did like a little bit of like, no, this goes over here, this goes over there. But I was struggling, and then so he had to do all the walking back and forth. He had to do all the heavy lifting, because God forbid if I tried to do anything like that, I felt like I was gonna pass out. And it was like when it's just how it goes. Like even one of the APA guys, he was like, I remember many trade shows where I was super sick and just like trying to push through it because all the stress of like the preparation, the travel, whatever, and then you're like, bam.
And you've invested in that. You're invested to be part of it.
Yeah, well, and it's like, if I don't go, we're out like several $1,000s, not including the potential sales that we're not going to get being there. So you just have to push through. And it's like, what machines do you have? So when you went from the Glowforge, when did you finally get like a real laser?
A real
and then like, what do you have now? Because it's a real laser, but it's like not at the same time.
So it was when Emily had that mom with the laser, and then I think the olive wood it got big because we were able to do some on the Glowforge.
Right.
It was just very sporadic.
Yeah. So long time. At that, you had to take the crumb tray out. So I was so awful with that focus, which when you look back, I could have figured that out. But because it doesn't move anywhere.
Right. You can't go up and down.
Right.
So then you're trying to like shim it to get it to
that's what he would
do.
He had certain ones for certain thicknesses of wood to put underneath to make sure it's awful. Right. And of course you could only put it where you could put it, it's only going to move
one spot.
So I remember I was watching videos, Hustle and Burn had opened, and that's when the olive wood had they offered their thing. And so we went back and we were watching all of Emily's videos. And then finally we said, maybe we should do this. You can tell we're on set because each one of us keeps losing one.
Your earbuds,
So that, see here. Because of Emily, we ended up doing the Mira 9.
Nice.
And it's funny, Martin was my salesperson from Eon.
Yeah.
Remember that until we bought the Nova 16, which is
nice.
Because he happened to call me and he's like, we've talked before, and now we're really good friends. But back then he was like, we have talked before. I'm like, okay, if you say so.
Brand new information.
Yeah. Okay. Because it was such an overwhelming thing to go from a Glowforge to a Mira.
Yeah, it was very scary.
I remembered where I bought it. I was just scary.
Yeah.
But then we went to the Nova. He got a fiber, JPT fiber. Yeah. And then we got to UV. So
and how's that going? So you have the UV, and then you also have the roll to roll. And tell me just briefly what the difference is between those two.
So the flatbed works on like hard substrates like acrylic, like doing prints. PVC, like we do a ton of those bag tags on the PVC cards, which is the same that the event cards are made out of.
Right.
So we have them in all different, like we make them for people's birthdays. We'll get the big ones and, do a whole thing for them.
Nice.
That'll do like wood, leather red, all that stuff. Whereas the roll to roll, that does stickers, does banners, window clings.
Window clings. You can do vehicle wraps.
We're not going to because you need like that's no.
Right. It's a whole nother beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does want to do stuff like window perf and stuff like that. He's actually looking, when his body decides to cooperate, he wants to do stuff on our cars.
Well, so we literally got a quote for that from our local printer today for the perforated window things for the back of his window, the two sides, and then we have 4 windows in our garage, and we thought it'd be fun to put like each piece of our business on each window.
Oh, that's
so
a cool
like
idea,
Riley Black Media, keychain thingies, the podcast, and then what? Riley Black Designs or something for the 4th one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but
that
those
is cool.
Yeah, and because originally we were gonna do vinyl, and then you're limited in like what colors you can do that you can actually see, and
then
right, and then we went to actually go pick up our T-shirts, from the screen printer, and they had a perforated film on their door, and I was like, oh. We need to get this. We've seen them before, but you don't think about it in that moment when you're ordering them for yourself. And
that's what we're going to be practicing on when he feels a little bit better, because that's he's still lugging the rolls on, because some of the rolls, like we have the big one, the big roll to roll. So just makes me laugh, because when Billy buys something, it's always like the largest.
Well,
go big or go home.
Well, yeah, but you never hear anybody saying, "Gee, I wish I had bought the smaller one of this." It's always I could use.
I wish I could go bigger or whatever.
So when they
devil's advocate, I just sized down my laser.
Yeah.
Well, see, look, in that respect, I understand it, because I don't,
Well, we got the big laser thinking we were going to do the big signs, and we've done a few.
Yeah.
But that's like, it's like you're doing a big sign. It's a big process.
Yes.
And then once we started with the UV, I was doing just as much in sales, but all I'm making is this little card.
Exactly.
And mostly for teams.
Right.
My packaging station has more smaller boxes than bigger boxes.
Yeah.
I work with realtors, but even with that, I've been able to scale them down. Like, come on, everybody gets baskets. Like, think about it. How many times you get a basket from somewhere and you're like, counter for fruit, and then you decide, I don't like this thing, and you throw it out.
Right.
So I got them to do totes, because everybody uses a tote bag for something.
Right.
And so we've scaled even that. And like I always say, we're doing so much with UV. Maybe I'll just start, recommending someone else to the realtors, but then I'll get like 7 realtors in a row. And I'm like, all right.
Right.
Guess I should keep going here too.
Yeah. Well,
that's why we still need the engraver, but maybe not the big one.
Yeah, and that's why with the 9, it was just like this one realization moment where I was looking at the bed of my laser, and all of my cuts were 12 by 19, like the size on my laser. And I'm like, why do I have this big ass thing? If someone actually wanted a big sign, I'd probably turn them down, because I have to spend a bunch of money to order that size of acrylic. You better be local, because I'm not shipping that thing, because then I'd have to create a box for you.
Right.
And shipping large signs is the absolute worst part about making them, like,
and it's terrifying, because you like you pack it and you swear it's 100%, but come on, we know customers.
Exactly.
And it's like, I have one that I know for a fact her order was damaged, because when she sliced it, she went,
right.
It's like, what's in there. What are you doing?
Right. And then remaking that, and then shippers, they're not exactly very kind with bigger stuff. Exactly. And so I was like, listen, if we got rid of this, it would free up so much more space. And then I had the excuse of the red lines. So it was like downsizing, but an upgrade in speed and whatever. And then now, after we just recently this weekend I made that project that I was looking for with all the 16th acrylic that I couldn't find. But I had Samita actually print out some UV transfers for me because I needed some pictures, and there was a couple quotes and stuff. I'm like, there's no way I'm engraving this and paint filling it or whatever.
Right.
So I had her print all that for me, and it turned out really nice. And I was like, shit. Up until now, I have had not zero. I've wanted a UV printer, but we just don't have the space for the big ones. Right. And then when I saw that, like, there's a couple, ones that we could get, the smaller ones that are only like $5K.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
Jay's printers.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. And I saw
Lindy.
like Dawn just got one, and I saw she got one of the smaller ones, and I was like, I can find room for that. And I realized too, I tried to find someone local. I posted in our local Facebook groups, and I was like, hey, who has a local UV printer that can, print this stuff for me? And I actually want them to print it on the substrate, because it was kind of annoying using the sticker. It's a little bit finicky, more so than just printing straight on.
Printing, yeah.
Yes.
And so I'd love to be able to be like, hey, here's my materials, print these.
This is what I need.
Print and cut these for me, and I'll come pick them up in, a week or two or whatever. I'd love to do that, but it's just not really an option. And I'm like, oh, great. Here's a gap in the market. That's all that my brain needs to hear. And now all of a sudden.
And it does change things. Like, so we're in all our local groups, like we have a big networking group that's like 57,000.
Yeah.
And then the local mom groups, one of which that I got kicked out of, and they never let me back in.
Oh,
but anyway,
and
I stuck up for somebody who was getting bullied. And, I've noticed there's a lot less people saying, oh yeah, I could do that, or I can sublimate it.
Right.
And
which is not the,
saying, well, I don't want sublimation, and of course they're always going to, but we do supplement, and there are some people that do real good at it.
Yeah, for sure.
UV is a different animal, it's just, it's a better adhesion, especially when it comes to acrylic,
Right.
And of course I have the queen herself, Melody, helping me with the acrylic and making sure my adhesion's good.
Right.
And now when she gets her UV DTF, Anne's going to be going over there to play.
Yeah.
She is good. It's so funny. We've been friends for so long, but now people find out, oh, Melody? No, Melody. I go hang out with Melody.
Right. And that's my bestie. What do you mean?
That's my girl.
Right. I love how she showed up, just showed up with coffie and, whatever at the.
When we were doing our training. And it was so funny. Twice she pushed me out of the way. So we're learning, and she had questions. She's like, move over, I got a question.
Like, whose training is this?
Right. I was like, but I plan to do it to her too when she gets
right.
She sat down at my computer, and she was like, and I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm thinking, this is my shop, right? Like, we're in my office, right? And she's like, I can't. What is this? She saw all the numbers on my email.
You have 6,000 unread emails.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't even get me started about how many photos I have on my phone.
Well, but she'll have 47 unread text messages, and it's like, how do you have that?
That reminds me, I have one from yesterday I haven't replied to yet.
Forget replying. Half the time she doesn't even read them. Got the red dot on there going, have a message.
Hey, look, I'm down. My phone only.
She's trying to hit the high score.
Yeah.
Possibly 3 that I haven't.
Right, 114 missed calls. Oh,
yeah, I do have 114 missed calls.
But you never go back and look at them to see why they missed. You just fuck it, missed it. Oh well.
It
comes around again.
They just have to keep calling until they catch her with her phone in her hand, and then.
Well, that's
if it's Egg McMahon saying we won the lotto.
No, that's the Mandela effect.
Right. The publishers.
That
sweepstakes never happened.
Mandela thing that never happened the way all the collective Gen X believes did not happen. So
don't even get me started on that. I have a whole theory. Well, I don't have a whole theory. It's one of the conspiracy theories I've signed up for on what that all is about.
Yeah, I know.
I went down the rabbit hole on TikTok because when I'm not working, I'm doom scrolling.
Of
researching.
course.
No,
Yeah.
researching.
Yes, researching. Right.
Yeah,
You're right.
when you're scrolling for your next content idea, and 2 hours later you have 0 content ideas. And
Right.
last night we were sitting on the couch,
10
p.m.
like you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in 10 p.m. all of a sudden it's midnight, and we're like, "What the hell?
How did that happen?"
And then we had a surprise visitor.
We have the Roku screensaver rolling by
Literally
the whole night while we're just scrolling.
And then we had Carl, the massive huntsman spider, while you were trying to feed the pig.
You named him?
Well, the Facebook named him. Social media named. He said, I posted it on our local group, and I was like, it said something like, nobody told me these were here, but it's his house now, so it's been nice knowing you guys. And he joked, he commented, he said, that's Carl, the hurricane shutter installer. So now his name is Carl. I couldn't figure out what to call him, but Carl is fitting. This? And he was squished up. He was this big. And that was his legs squished.
She tells me this as I'm on my way to Florida with these big
sliding. So our sliding glass door, you can open it from either side. And then
thankfully
there's a screen that goes from either side as well. So you can have the sliding glass door open. Well, in that channel on the side, that's what
so he tried to close the screen on him, and all you did was probably piss off his toes, because he was still like, okay, cool, I'm still here.
I had to get in the house somehow.
Nice try.
Yeah,
right.
And then the crazy thing was, I went to go open so I came out of the door, obviously
inches above the handle.
Didn't see him at all. Walked over, grabbed Piggy's thing to go feed her, came back in to put the food in, and as I'm about to reach to open the door again, I'm like, what is that in the channel? So I flash again, it's dark, so I can't see it. So I have my flashlight and I flash it, and it's this huge ass spider. I'm like, great, now how am I gonna get in the house?
He calls me, so I was like,
yeah.
Why is he calling me? And I'm worried because our dog likes to start shit with the pig. So I'm like, oh God, something happened. But then, it's quiet. I don't hear any commotion. And he's like, there's a huge spider. And me, I think a spider this big is huge, right? So if he says, he's like, oh, that's little. If he says it's large.
Right, then it's
large.
You could get on and ride off into the sunset with it.
Yeah, he literally went in from one way, and then he went around. You should have been recording
because she was like, and then fumbling with her phone, but not keeping her eyes off of the thing.
Because of course you have to record those.
Because if she lost where it went, she was never spoken again.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. The only thing that saved me was that he was outside in between the glass of the sliding glass door. If that was in the house, we'd be at a hotel right now. Nope.
I was talking to Stephanie the other day, and as we're talking, so in North Carolina, we get those little lizards, and they're not I'm not afraid of them per se.
Right.
But when they fall from the ceiling 2 inches from my face.
Oh yeah, no.
And from the ceiling to the floor of the screen. And I'm like, she's like, what? I'm like, a lizard just fell. I need to know where it's going.
Right.
So it took off and went up a roll of paper towels that had fallen and up onto the chair. She names it George while I'm having chaos. She's like, oh, that's just George. I'm like, what?
Of course.
So now she occasionally will ask me but I think George finally, we felt bad. He wasn't eating. There's nothing in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm like, y'all.
You need to go somewhere. You're not going to live if you stay here.
Right.
Yeah. But, George.
Have you heard though, and then we'll get back to laser stuff. Have you heard that a lot of people who try to save spiders and put them outside, they're house spiders and they don't know how to live outside. So by actually putting some house spiders outside, you're killing them. Because
that's okay, because unless they're paying me rent, they shouldn't be in my damn house.
This is
we have a lizard that's dying in our closet.
Oh, thanks for telling me.
Yeah, he's dying. He's withering away.
You're fine. He's dying.
Every time I see him, he gets skinnier and skinnier. Yeah.
Can you go save him and have him die the rest of the way?
I can't, because every time I get I see him, I'm like, oh, let me get a cup. He's gone. I'm like, well, you're gonna die in here, buddy.
Did you ever see the spiders they show from Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had him at our house yesterday.
Him.
I thought huntsmans were only in Australia, and apparently they also are in Florida. Carl.
And they live with it like it's nothing. I'd be like, dude, we're gone.
You want to know? I told him, be careful what you talk about, right? Because John and I had talked about the huntsman spiders in Australia the day before. And I'm like, yeah, I joked about how people in Australia are like, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so. He keeps all the pests out. And they're fine with huge dinner plate spiders living in their house because they're pest control. They're free pest control. And I'm like, in some places, that's what they do. And Carl heard this, and he's like, oh, nice. I'm welcome
Open
here.
invite.
No. That's not what I said.
In Australia.
So it's very important to be careful with the conversations and the energy you put out there.
So basically, if it happens here, then it's you guys. You caused it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and honestly,
I don't think
our
Lanai,
Lanai, if he was like on the far corner,
yeah,
no,
he can
no problem.
Go ahead.
No problem. But he was right by the entrance. That's too close.
Yeah, no, that's no.
Too close.
No, we
man.
don't want any. We don't prefer the creepy crawlies. It's you know, and the dog does absolutely nothing because she'll see something walk by and be like, and keep going. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
Panda was in the way.
She was in the way. She wouldn't move out of the way.
I was like, listen, if this spider jumps and lands on you, you're dead. I'm not saving you.
Right.
I'm digging a hole behind the shed, and you're gonna live with the snake because I'm not saving you. I'm not saving you. You have a spider, you're dead. You're gone.
So back to laser stuff. What is
we gotta wrap up. Gen
I know.
Pop.
So I'm asking the questions. The only questions I prepare. So what is one tool, skill, or mindset that you guys have attained in your laser journey that you felt has made a big impact in your business? And I know it's hard to choose, especially when you have so many machines and.
Well, it's actually not a machine, and it kind of goes with what books should you read.
Mm-hmm.
We don't read. Well, we do read, but not like business.
Right.
It's talking to everybody. Create. So
that's a good one.
We honestly, like, I met Liz by a fluke because she was doing something with a group, and somebody sent her to me to talk about something I experienced.
Yeah.
Now I talk to Liz like, always
regularly. Yeah.
With Stephanie. I mean, we sat across at this Eon event, the first one where I met you.
Yeah.
We ended up at a breakfast the next morning. Why? Because Mindy was like, hey, you're with Eon. Yeah, we were downstairs. Come on, we're all going to breakfast. It was that last night. Like anybody that lived gone already except Mindy.
Yeah.
It ended up Liz was there, Christine and Trish, and then me and you and Mindy, and I'm trying to picture, I can use that.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting across going, I think I know that girl from TikTok.
Yep.
But we started talking more afterwards. And now, not like some of my friendships are, we talk about personal stuff a lot too. But this is where you learn. You have to talk to people. From the group, like I have like 4 people that reached out. You don't even realize the impact you have on some people.
Yeah.
Where I'm always looking for the people I can learn from. And that's not why I start a friendship, but there's people you click with, and then I found out I've been doing it for other people, where, oh my God, I need your help
yeah.
And that's really your best learning, and it's always with that thing, give as much as you get.
Right.
So I try to give as much as I get. And I feel like that's where we got a lot of our, like even talking to Martin, who I didn't realize I knew all those years ago.
Right.
Just like he'll say some random piece of advice and it'll stick with me. And that's what got through, because we are not like niche down people. If anybody knows us, we were on the topper trend, we were on the pencil trend, now we're on the big trend. That's us. We love to do all the things.
Yeah.
Most people would tell you that's not the way to do it. It's work for us.
Yeah. Right. It's finding what works for you, whether that's niching down or not. Yeah.
And that was a conversation we had to have.
Yeah, Stephanie, she's mentioned a few times, she doesn't niche down at all. She makes whatever she wants to make at the time.
Because she likes it. And it
makes
you want to make it, right?
Right.
Like if it's like you love acrylic, you love things that your keychain thingies. I still have another whole bag of that I just found.
Nice. Everyone always loses them.
Well, because and it's so funny because it's not like it doesn't have that big keychain thingy on it.
Right.
I was going through the drawer and Liz was on the phone. She's looking. She goes, "Is that more?" I said, "Yeah, apparently I ordered more."
Well, yeah, because people reorder them when they can't find the first pack.
They have it. And that may happen here quite a bit.
Right.
Might be why my inventory list was this long for taxes this year, you know.
Yeah.
But that's really how you learn is
Yeah, I agree. The meeting people and the friendships, you never know which one of those can turn into something. Every
Right.
single event we go
Yeah.
to, we find another, as I'll call it, my people or our people,
Mhm.
every single one. And like these will be people that you talk to regularly online, but then you'll meet them in person and you're like, "Oh, you're even cooler in person," and
Right,
you realize
right.
you have even more in common, or
Yeah.
you just see more about their personality besides, you know, comments on the screen. That only goes so far.
Right.
Or
And
and also too, you build like stronger relationships because there
yeah,
could be people that you see like kind of in passing at certain
right.
events,
Mhm.
and then at this one event you got time to like really like
Yeah, you
talk
were on the
and
elevator
Oh, yeah.
together, or you
and
went
like
to dinner
really,
together,
and you're like, oh man, they're
mhm.
like really cool, like they're
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's
We
been,
just
yeah, go ahead.
we just did it with PDS. Like we went to their
Mhm.
like block party event.
Yeah.
We were talking to people we normally don't.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we don't see that often. And it was like, I mean, we needed a notebook, a pen, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Well, and
much
then there's just so
time.
much like the networking that you can get from it, not only just like the friendships and someone to talk to, but then like if someone reaches out to you for a new project and you know, oh, hey, that guy that I just met at the PDS
Right.
event, I know he makes those on a regular basis.
Yep.
Maybe he can help
Right.
me with sourcing, or maybe he can give me some tips on, you know, proper adhesion with this particular type of material that you haven't worked with yet. And just having those connections and those people, they like that's how your business grows, either by
Mhm.
collabing with them or, you know, exchanging information depending on what it is, because maybe they're like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask you, oh, you know, maybe someone wanted to ask Stephanie about her golf balls and like how do you do those, and
Right.
you know, like
Yeah.
it's that stuff is like it's worth its weight for sure. Just if I highly recommend anyone finding local events. If there isn't a local event, create one. See who, you know, is local and has a laser owner and wants to meet up. And having those connections were great when your laser's down. So many things.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. 'Cause
So,
anything, as you all know, you're in the middle of something, and that's when Murphy's Law is going to
of course.
yes, and
Yeah.
you've got to have somebody that you can reach out to help you out because
Mhm.
Oh, and she's done it to me. We've, you know, we'll give each other that call, like, oh shit, I need help, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm lucky because, you know, Melody.
Right.
You know, but I mean, she's been helpful with so much, just like even Shopify.
Yes.
I destroyed my Shopify one day. I don't know what the hell
Oh
I did.
no.
And she was just like, okay. I mean, she even offered. So, okay. So after being here with the coffee she brought,
Yeah.
and I told everybody she didn't, I told her not to bring me a coffee, but it was fun
Yeah.
to tell. Right? She only brought it for the PDS guy.
Right.
She sat down and she's like, I'm like, I don't know if my Shopify was, she was like, I'm like, I know I need help with that too. She's like, yeah, I think we need to sit down for a day or so. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, she's the whole reason we do collective at all,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
she brought it up at the last next level at the last next level conference, and
Mhm.
now we have four
Yeah.
collective vendors, and it's just extra revenue. You know, this is several $1,000s that they didn't have before,
Yeah.
or
Right.
that they wouldn't have had if we didn't do collective. And same with me potentially, because I'm basically using, you know, their website and their customer base, and they're
Mhm.
getting an easier access to what we offer, and vice versa. All they have to do is add the listings to their website, and
That's
they
it.
get to make the, you know, the whole percentage. So
Right.
it's just little things like that. I knew I
I
had
would have never
heard
known
about
about that.
collective. Yeah, I heard about it, but I didn't really know enough about it to know how that would fit into what I'm doing until she brought that up, and I was like, oh my God, that's genius, you know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's turned out to be a really great add to our business, and that wouldn't have happened, I don't think, at least not when it did, if it wasn't for next level. So,
Right.
you know, little things
Right.
like that are
Yeah.
just,
Right.
yeah,
Well,
worth
yeah, I
its weight for
100%
sure.
agree. So that's why when people say the tool, it's, I think the tools are people though. They're
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
know I'm
agree.
not calling people tools. I promise.
Hey, listen, some of them are
Please
tools.
This is true.
I was
There
gonna
are
say,
some
Joel,
So
tools.
we'll
please
get
be
into
careful.
that in the.
I think
So
I
before
know
we
what
go,
that little snippet's gonna be.
right?
Anne's been calling people
So the
tools.
codes. We'll mention it's now called Gen Pop for
The Gen Pop.
for the general, the free listeners. So they are doing packaging stickers on their website, and
Yes.
the code for that is TYRB10, and I assume that's 10% off. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And then she also did that's a no expiration one. So, if you need stickers, try some out from MBZ Designs. And of course, patrons get a bigger discount.
Deeper
But we'll
discount. Yes.
we'll tell them about that next.
So where can people find you and use that?
It's on our website. It's made by Designs.com, because I couldn't do MBZ Designs because Mercedes owns that one. I didn't know that when I got my name. But yeah, it's on Made by Zizza Designs. And
how do you spell the Zizza?
Oh, ZISSA.
Okay.
Right? Did I spell it right? Right. I'm like, wait a minute. It's really funny. I'll tell you very fast. The way Zizza came around, my son was a late talker. My daughter was an early talker, and they're 2 years apart. Give you a hint. Started really talking first, was not him.
Yeah.
We would always say, go play with your sister, to my son. Well, somehow she thought her name was Zizza. Like, she wasn't.
Yep.
It is to this day in her phone. Her name for him in her phone is Zizza.
Yep.
So we wanted something different. Until we realized people can't say it.
Right. I'm always like, Zizza.
Yes,
that was a piece of advice that we had gotten from
Emily Caroline.
Emily Caroline was like,
No.
hey, listen, you may
at
wanna-
LBX.
You may want to
Now,
think
we were
about-
already on the thought of changing it.
And
Yeah.
she's like,
She just sealed the deal for
right.
us.
So we were like, oh.
So a month later, I wrote it, said, guess who did the DBA for MBZ Designs?
Nice.
And it was something. I mean, Melody went through it too. She was custom made better, and then she's CMB.
Yep.
So basically, we took that model, figuring we'd do the same thing. And just because it's easier, and eventually, hopefully one day I will get back and be able to grab that website. But for now, it was this way.
Yeah, I had to pay.
I don't know if it's Mercedes-Benz, but that's what somebody told me, that's probably who owns it.
Yeah, for RileyBlack.com, I had to pay $2,000 for that. I had to buy it from I had to get like a broker from GoDaddy, and have them like brokerage it and go back and forth. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean those are things you don't think about, in the beginning.
Right.
And everyone has those cute nicknames, but then then you realize like,
how does it translate?
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's like, and that's when and she did the same thing as you. She went, I never know how to say Ziza.
And
sometimes
I don't know how to spell it either.
Sometimes it's great up until you group all the letters in one word, and you're like, oh wait, there's a hidden message in there.
Oh yeah.
Or it's really long. Or
oh, you mean like Made by Zizza Design?
Yeah, that one.
That's why I'm very happy with links, and now QR codes are my everything. Like,
right, yeah. So they don't
with
actually.
The stickers. Liz just did a thing because she wants to make sure all her jewelry people know about her group.
Oh, right.
So we just did ones for her that were a circle. Please join our Facebook group, and just a QR code.
Yeah,
We've been doing all our Etsy packages to give send them onto the website, and we've actually gotten some background. And Mindy was the one who told us that'll work. Give it time, and she's right. It does.
Yeah.
So that's why, we just have stickers there now. They'll be able to do the little labels for their box. We're going to have all sorts of things. It'll work on anything on the business essentials.
Yeah.
So it's not just stickers. They could have it on, QR code stuff and stuff like that.
Cool.
I'll get the collection going the right way.
So we're gonna keep this train rolling, but that's all gonna be on the patron side of things.
Yes.
This is it for Gen Pop. And the life update's coming up next. And it's life update time. And we need to hurry up because one of the behind the scenes things that we have going on takes place in a few minutes. We have a meeting in a few minutes.
We do. So did we decide what we're going to tell him? We're just going to tease it?
We're just teasing it for now. We have something.
We got to see if it turns out. Yes. If it turns out, we'll share more.
Then we'll share more as we always do.
We'll always be the first to know, but We have a
So
thing.
life update things. You're going on a girls trip.
I am. So two of my laser besties, Bree or Brianne Dutra, if you have seen her on
Right.
Facebook, and then Jessica, I call her
Tortellini.
Tortunis, something
Tortugas?
like that. Tortunis. I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah, and so they're both coming out to Florida.
Mhm.
I'm meeting them in Orlando, and we're gonna do a little girls trip. Bree and I both have birthdays in May.
Right.
Hers is on the 7th, I believe. Mine's on the 11th. Was on the 11th. So we're kind of doing a girls trip, birthday, all of the above
Extravaganza.
thing.
Yeah.
So that's on Wednesday night to Sunday morning. So I have a lot of stuff I have to get done before I go. It's funny.
Yeah.
We realized literally yesterday, like, oh, that means you're going to be shipping stuff while I'm
I'm
gone.
going to be processing orders. So if you order from us,
I have to clean up
and
my
stuff
desktop, get rid of all the tabs, clean
Yep.
off my literal desktop,
Yep.
make room. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's fun. And I'm wrapping up the recording portion of
your
the
course. I'm so excited for you.
the content course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that hopefully
Be
shooting
on the lookout.
Yes, shooting for, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it to hold myself accountable. Shooting for the beginning of June
Woo!
to
That's
release.
soon.
That is really soon.
Oh, that's real soon.
That-
Okay,
I
so
know
we gotta
that's real
go
soon.
because
But luckily, you're gone for the next few days.
that's true.
And the boys will be at school, so
It
I have
does
a bunch
help.
of alone time to just I'll record this
Streamline
last
it.
module, and then I can actually
We
edit
really do
on the
kind of
couch
get
because
we're effective apart.
Yes.
We're effective together, but apart there's just that one less distraction.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we really even distract each other that much, but like if you're recording, you have to make sure that I'm
it's
not going to do something
quiet,
loud.
right. Well, I've only
or,
done the
you know.
recording when you go do your hair, nails, or
Right.
whatever, so that
When
like,
I
it
prefer to
doesn't-
record when you're like
right.
in the bathroom
Well,
or whatever.
I don't, but
'cause-
just in case you're like printing something or you need to do
Right.
something here and
Yeah.
whatever, I don't want to like interrupt that because
yeah.
that's making money right now, and the course will make money.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, so and I don't want you to feel like you have to be like a mouse or whatever.
Right.
So I've taken advantage of the times you haven't been here to record. So
Yeah.
I'll record this last module,
Nice.
and then I'll edit. I should have, I mean, I'm planning to have it done.
Which
edited and
the content is the recording it is the first difficult step.
Right.
The second difficult step is the website domain.
Right.
Not contracts, but like your terms and conditions,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that you don't think about when
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm going to make a course. You don't realize that all that kind of
Right.
comes
So
with
I think that's what's going
So-
to slow anything down if it doesn't come
Yeah.
out in
beginning of June. yeah.
June. At the
Which our
beginning of June?
podcast was supposed to come out then as well for our anniversary, so we got to get on that as well.
Okay.
We have to record when I get back from my trip.
Okay. Well, we just have to record one and then
'Kay.
put it out there.
Yeah.
And pick music and everything. Anyway, so that's
Until
what we
I
got
end to all
going
the
on.
things.
We're already late. So
We're not late.
it's been it's 3:00.
It's at 3:30.
Oh, 3:30. Oh, we're right on time. See,
That's why I did it for
no,
3:30.
and that's why in my mind I saved it in my head at 3:00
Smart
to make sure
we
we're
aren't
there
late.
on time at 3:30.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, it's been
Right.
another great episode of the Rally Back Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done. The Rally Black Project. Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Wait, hold on. Nino, I'm recording.